In the 1959, a group of the Russian hikers set out for a long ski trip through the northern Ural mountain. And this was the beginning of the mystery that would take to near 16 years to solve. Expect that one member who got sick and had to turn back halfway through the journey, the other nine hikers would never make it back home. I'm a devil hunter, and wait, better. And this another episode of the Unsolved Mystery. All nine hikers who continued the journey had the right equipment for the freezing weathers, and they were all experienced enough for the handle a difficult mountain trip. On February 1, the group followed the Ansupia River, if I'm not wrong, and reached a remote mountain area. The mountain they were heading toward was called Dead Mountain. At first, they planned to cross the area, but because of the freezing weather and a strong snowstorm, they decided to get up their tent there and stay the night, then continue when the weather got better. It seems like a simple choice, but it may has been their first fatal mistake. They set up their tent on the eastern of the Dead Mountain. And when the tent was later found, investigators discovered winter clothes, food, and most of their hiking impact inside the tent. The main reason they chose this spot was the steep slope and the heavy snowstorm that made it difficult to go any higher. Later, I explain why this simple change in location may have changed the fate of entire group. But in just a few hours later, all nine hikers had left the tent. They left behind most of their equipment, including the warm clothes they desperately needed in the freezing mountain. But the biggest question is why they did left the tent. Something forced them to get out, or a serial killer or someone attacked them. After several days without a hearing from the hikers and with none of them showing up at their next planned stop, a search for the entire group started. The search team finally reached at the area on February 26 and found their tent. But there was no sign of the hikers, not inside the tent and not anywhere nearby. Even a stranger, none of their important winter gear had been taken. Their gloves, the warm clothes and backpack, and even their diary was still inside the tent, untouched. The search team noticed several tears from the tent, but those tent wasn't made from the outside. They had been made from the inside the tent. The hiker had cut their way out of the tent and left everything behind. Whatever happened, it seems to be serious that they didn't even have the time to put on their prepared winter clothes. The hiker footprint could be followed for about the 500 meters down of the slope, leading through the forest. After searching the area, the body of the five hikers was found near a tree. One of them had the skull fracture, while another had the several burn marks on his body. But the medical examiners conclude that all five died from the hypothermia, and the remaining four bodies were found months later. They're several hundred meters away from the first group. They had several injuries too, including the skull fractures, ribs broken, and the serious damage into the chest. I know what are all you thinking right now. What exactly happened to them? After the solving investigation was closed, that question stayed in the mind of the researcher for the decade. And over the years, people came up with everything from the accident or monster or even a serial killer. But finally, in 2019, the mystery seems like to have a more logical answer. So, remember when I told you about the location of the tent on the eastern slope of the Dead Mountain? The main theory starts there. Because of the way they set up the tent combined with the heavy snowstorm in that night, a large mass of the snow may leave broken loose. Something similar like the small avalanche. The snow moved down to the slopes and hit the tent. When the hundred of the kilograms of heavy packed snow suddenly came down on the tent, it may cause some of the serious injuries found on the hikers, like including a skull fracture or ribs broken or damage to chest. But the impact may not have been strong enough to kill them right there. So, still conscious and believing the tent was no longer safe for them, and they decide to get out. And they didn't have time to put their clothes or pack their backpack. After reaching the tree area in the forest, they tried to survive in the freezing cold. They might have climbed to the tree and broken branches to make a fire. That could explain some of the injuries found on their body. But because of the strong wind and freezing temperature, the fire didn't last long. Four members of the group eventually died from the cold. The others may have taken some of their clothes to stay warm, and this could explain why some of the hikers were found later wearing the clothes that belongs to other member of the group. They then moved farther into the forest and tried to build some kind of shelter with the snow. But in the end, the freezing temperature and the snowstorm were too much. They all died. And because some of the bodies remain buried under the snow for the month, the natural decomposition caused the change to their bodies. And this change later led people to believe that they had been attacked or murdered. Today, the avalanche theory is a considered one of the biggest explanation for what happened in that night. But the truth is that no one knows exactly what happened to the hikers in the Dead Mountain. Why did you think? A serial killer, a monster, or just a tragic accident caused by the nature? Tell me your theory in the comment below. I'm a devil hunter and I hope you enjoy this episode of the Unsolved Mysteries. You can watch more videos like this on the Unsolved Mystery playlist. If you enjoy this kind of the content, please support us by following the channel and leave a comment and a like and sharing this video to your friend. If you have an idea for the next killer we must cover and the next cases, please say that in the comment. I read all of them. And as always, until next time, adios. 3, 2, 1, and action. Cut 2. What is this? Cut 2. They left behind most of their equipment inside the warm closet, desperately need to in a freezing mountain. Editors, I want you edit here. I'm like a dragon, and I'm fire in my mouth. Woo woo. What? You say you can do this? Why? That's so simple. Come on, you can. Ah, Gotch. Gotch. Who write this actually? What? Me? Oh. Okay.